Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 spring training question and answer session with myself, Joey Buchholz, the creator of the Utopian baseball universe. We'll be here with you for 1 full hour today, taking any questions you have about anything baseball related. Could be the Utopian baseball universe, Major League Baseball, the book I wrote in 2008, anything you want to talk about. Leave the comments below the video and I'll be able to see them in real time. Again, if you want your name used, click on the permission right above the video. You'll see a link so that I can see your name in StreamYard. I'm going to try my best to highlight each comment and put it on screen so that everyone else can see it, just in case we get a ton of them. And like I said, I'll be going about an hour today. You can also send questions to my email, which is Fauxbeppe, FAUXBEPPE, @gmail.com. I don't anticipate many people will email. I don't know if anyone uses email in 2021. Would just be easier, I suppose, if you just left the comments in the questions in the comments section, and we'll get to as many of them as possible. I do have some questions that I got prior to going live today, and I'll be addressing those as well. Someone had asked me earlier today exactly why I started this. So just to give you a little bit of background, I lost my father in 2014, and I wanted to create something that would occupy my mind, get my mind off things, and I wanted to create something that combined all the things I loved about baseball, and then incorporate some things that I think baseball needed improving, at least in my eyes. So I've never been a fan of how they schedule games, a very unbalanced schedule. I know that there's teams, the Brewers have been in the National League now almost 25 years, and there's teams that have only been here 2 or 3 times. So I wanted to create a balanced schedule, and that's why I have 32 teams. Brought back the Montreal Expos, basically promoted the Durham Bulls to be a Utopian baseball universe team. So I have 4 divisions of 8. And each team plays 12 games within the division, and then 3 games against every other team in the division. So if you're a Brewers fan, you're going to go to Dodger Stadium every other year. And if you're a Dodgers fan and you like Christian Yelich, the Dodgers are going to come to Miller Park every other year. So the Dodgers and Brewers play each other 3 games a year, and then they just alternate which city they play in. So I had that in mind. I always thought, I think as we all have done, like, what would it be like to see some of today's players compete against some of the all-time greats? So the initial idea was to basically create these 32 rosters that compiled players from every era, some of my favorite players, and some players that I know basically just from an old baseball card collection. Made a schedule. The schedule took me years to make because I didn't know what I was doing. And now that I do know what I'm doing, this year's schedule only took me about 4 days to make. And 2022's is already done. So there will be a season 3. This much I know. And then basically what we're doing here is we're just basically simulating an entire season as if it's happening. So this is it's strictly a fictional project. It's more of a kind of a writing project for me. What I do is I have a spreadsheet of, I don't know, 2,000 dates that go back to 1901. And then a random set of numbers next to each date. And then what I do is I use a random number generator to pull a date from history. And then I use those numbers that are next to the date to determine the outcomes for my schedule. So for example, let's say the date I pull is September 1st, 1940. What I do then is I take all the games from September 1st, 1940, and I plug those results into my schedule based on the numbers next to it. So if the number 5 is the first number in that spreadsheet, then the 5th game from that date will load into my first game. And then I just do that all the way through. That takes about 20 minutes. And then what I do is write summaries and present results to you as if they're actually happening. So I do that in 3 different ways. I do a write-up here in the Facebook group. Someone's angry. Someone does an angry emoji. So I don't know if it's you don't like the Browns or you don't like the Colt 45s hat. But someone, it looks like, is angry with this telecast so far. So anyway, I share the results on the Facebook group in a written form. Then I upload a PDF scoreboard that everyone can see, winners and losers, who homered, winning pitcher, losing pitcher, all those things. And then starting this year, we're going to be doing a daily recap show. I did recap shows last year, 2 or 3 times a week, very short. We're going to be doing 15-minute shows every day, starting on opening day. Opening day is going to be a longer one, and then April 2nd is going to be a longer one, just because those are going to be the 2 days that feature 16 unique home opening games. I'm going to have guests like I have been doing. Not every show will have trivia, but mostly it's going to be a recap show that talks about what happened during the day. I'll also be doing very, very short morning shows, probably 5 minutes a morning, just to say hi, kind of start the day with some positivity, maybe highlight some bigger matchups for the day. Just a good way to start the day. I haven't decided when that will start. Probably will be right before opening day, I would imagine. So again, this is a work of fiction, a project for me to just kind of share my love of baseball with you. Last year we had 61 members through the end of the season. Let's see, about 3 weeks ago we had 83 members, so we grew it by 22 members in the off season, and in the last 3 weeks we have welcomed over 260 new members, and it's all because of you. People that have been brought in are telling people about it, sharing it with their friends and family. I'm welcoming some days 5 people, some days 30 people. I'm really having a great time getting to meet everyone. I think we've already brought in like 12 today. I was up at 5 a.m. welcoming new members from yesterday. So this was my goal, was to, I never put a number on it, but just I wanted to get people, fans from every fan base, and we have now done that. We have fans from all 32 teams now. Some people have even adopted new favorites specifically for the Utopian baseball universe. So that's really exciting to me. As you may or may not know, opening day is going to be Friday, March 26th. South Division teams are going to be visiting East Division teams to kick off the season, and then West Division teams are going to be visiting North Division teams. We got some early comments here. Somebody, again, I don't know who's saying this unless you click the OK right above the video, but someone is telling me I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm trying to be relaxed. I've got my favorite hoodie on, my Colt 45 hat from 1962. Somebody is just saying hello. Hello. I'm glad you're here. Basically, again, if you're just joining me, this is a question and answer session. Feel free to ask me any questions about baseball. It doesn't even have to be about baseball. I don't know how to change a tire, so you'd be wasting your time on that. I make really good mac and cheese. I don't make beds. I don't understand the point. But anything baseball related, or if it relates to the Utopian baseball universe, please fire away. I've got my email open here. And I do have some other questions that I've been receiving over the last couple days to talk about this. I'm really curious. Can someone tell me who was angry? Like I feel bad. Someone was angry with me being here, and I'm not on Facebook right now, so I can't check. If someone can give me a name, I'm just so curious. I want to make you happy. I was up at 5 a.m. today. I went to bed early. I went to bed at 11 o'clock last night. Got up at 5. Posted what I thought was a fun question. Is there anyone else out there that's a fan of two teams? And I've been basically uploading custom tickets that I've been making for the last 10 months. Oh, that's Jamie. It was by mistake. No, hey, look, you're in Pittsburgh. If you're a Steelers fan and I'm wearing a Browns hoodie, I can understand that. That's all right. I understand. It's cool, Jamie. It keeps me on my toes. I like it. Keep it up there. Don't change it. So we do have a question. Andrew, my oldest friend in the world, is asking, what's your favorite part of the process of formulating the Utopian results each day? So what I love about it is I'm a fan, just like you guys are. I know there's people here that follow it as if it's actually happening, and I do too. So my favorite part is all the unknown. I love, so what I do is the night before. So on Thursday, March 25th, I'm going to go in and retrieve the date. I don't know what the date is because I'm going to actually do the random number generator each day to see what date it's pulling. And then everything's going to populate into a spreadsheet. So I just love the unknown. Like the Mets open their season at home against the Rangers. How are they going to do? How are the Brewers going to do? The excitement of seeing maybe the possibility of a no-hitter or a walk-off grand slam or a favorite player of mine, because all the lineups will be revealed before opening day. What if one of them goes 3 for 5 with 4 RBIs? That's exciting to me. And then to be able to take all this information and to create a written synopsis of it is really fun for me. Basically just creating like an 8-month story. So that's my favorite part of the process, is just finding out what happens and sharing it with you. If you guys were in the group last year, you know we had about 6 no-hitters, and it was fun to like find out and report it as it's happening. I actually broke in live for many of them. So a great question, Andrew. Thank you. So this is Jamie saying that was his mistake. Again, if you are angry, that's good. That means you're passionate. I love it. Someone's asking, you can't see our name. So right above me, there's a link that says, I don't know exactly what it says. Please grant StreamYard permission. If you click that, then I will see your name. I am not in Facebook right now. The reason I'm not in Facebook is that I've tested this out. If I'm signed into Facebook at the same time I'm signed into StreamYard, a weird echo happens, and I don't want that to happen. So if you want me to use your name, please click on that link, I'll see it later. Like at the end of the show, I'll be able to go in and read everything. That's the only way I'm going to know who's saying what here. All right, here's Jamie's comment again. He's not angry. I had so much fun talking with you, Jamie, last night. I want to have you as a weekly guest. Fantastic. Had a lot of fun. Again, still having fun at the mistake that was made. But again, I love it. As a new member, someone's asking, I'm curious about some of the cool, unexpected occurrences in previous seasons. Great question. So last year was the first year that we did this, 2020. Opening day last year was March 27th. Yeah, I'll talk about, so we had 6 no-hitters. I don't know the order of them off the top of my head, but the first one was on one of my good friend Marlene's birthday. I told her actually the morning of, I said, there's going to be something really cool happening tonight on your birthday. It was Steve Carlton at Yankee Stadium, threw a no-hitter against the Yankees. Fergie Jenkins no-hit the Angels. Frank Tanana no-hit the Rays. J.R. Richard had a no-hitter. I forget who was against. Who else? Ubaldo Jimenez had a no-hitter against the A's, and then Dave Dravecki had a perfect game on the second to last game of the year, and that actually propelled the Padres into a tie with the Diamondbacks for the final playoff spot. So they had a game 157, and that was made possible by Dave Dravecki throwing a perfect game. We had 2 cycles last year, George Brett and Keith Hernandez. Ironically, and again, this is what I love about it, just the randomness of it. One of the dates that was pulled from the spreadsheet was the date Ryne Sandberg had his Sandberg game at Wrigley Field, where he had like 8 RBIs in the last couple innings, 2 homers. And so that date was copied into the spreadsheet, and coincidentally, it was copied into a Cubs-Tigers game. So Ryne Sandberg was the benefactor of the Sandberg game. It was going to be whichever team the box score randomly pulls into, it was going to be that team's second baseman. So Sandberg benefited from the Sandberg game. So I thought that was really cool. We had a 16-game win streak last year. The Reds had a 16-game win streak snapped by the Angels. We had a 14-game losing streak by the Brewers, which started right after I was on the news last year. So I'm glad it wasn't happening during. I probably would not have made it to air. And then the Mariners, who actually had the worst record all of last year, they had a 14-game winning streak, which was weird because they were the worst team. Then they had a 14-game winning streak, and then they got cold again. But those are some examples of some of the cool things that happened. And then for me, the coolest thing was getting to meet new people that really got excited about what we were doing. J.D. Schloss, who won our trivia tournament, man, he was commenting every day, liking what we were doing, texting me personally saying, I love this. And that's what I get out of it, is I want you guys to just, close your eyes, put your imaginations to the test, and just have fun with it. That's what it's all about. It's not a true simulation. I'm not pumping formulas into a computer and having it spit something out. It's completely random. The Colorado Rockies have the same chance to win the whole thing as the Yankees would. The Montreal Expos have the same chance to do anything that the Dodgers would. So that's what I enjoy the most about it. We've got someone here doing a test. I hope you passed. What is your favorite old-time team that became another team or no longer exists? Mine is the St. Louis Browns. I don't have it here, but I just bought a St. Louis Browns hat. If you go to my Facebook profile, it's recent, like within the last month. I found one in Macy's in New York. So I love the hat because I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I guess my favorite old-time team, just because of the history, is the Brooklyn Dodgers. Like I know that, they became the LA Dodgers, but I just love all the history. I've been in Brooklyn a couple times. Jackie Robinson, Duke Snyder. What a wonderful history. And I've read probably 30 Brooklyn Dodgers books. So that's a great question. Thank you very much. Here's Jamie thanking me. I also enjoyed Jamie's commentary. Jamie was fantastic. Jamie is going to be a star in the Utopian baseball universe just for his wealth of knowledge. And I was really entertained by having him on last night. Speaking of Jamie, he has a question. Do most folks who have two favorite teams are in the same or in opposite leagues? Great question. So I'm a Brewers and a Mets fan, but when I was a kid, the Mets were in the National League, Brewers were in the American League. Brewers switched to the National League in 1998. Yeah, 1998. So I guess it's kind of weird for me now because I used to have one in each league, and now they compete 6 times a year as opposed to never playing each other. Not to spoil my book, but one of the reasons I wrote it was to really find out which team I love more. And I found discovering it on the last day of the season that year that I'm a Mets fan first. I love the Brewers. The way I describe it in the book is I'm married to the Mets. I fell in love with the Mets. I married the Mets. And the Brewers are who I take to Dairy Queen after Little League. So win or lose, I tousle their hair. They get whatever blizzard they want. It's a different kind of love. I'm in love with the Mets. And I love the Brewers like I'm raising them. You know, they're cute. They look a little bit like me. You know, I don't shave like the 82 Brewers. So great question. As far as, I don't know, like I asked that question earlier today and I was getting a lot of mixed answers. Like some were White Sox and Cubs fans, Angels and Dodgers fans, and then there were some random ones. A gentleman was a Rockies and Orioles fan. We had Diamondbacks, Cubs. So I think it's just kind of a mix and different reasons, I would imagine, for people rooting for those teams. We have a comment here. Too many great pitchers at that time. Correct. Yeah. Geeker, I've got to know. I know you said it's a nickname, and I'm sure you have a different name on your birth certificate, but I'm just going to call you Geeker for the rest of time. I can see your name now. Yes. So I wonder if you had one of the older comments. But yes, Geeker, I can see your name. Thank you for being here, by the way. Geeker is going to be another guest on the show. Let's cheat and let's take a look here. Geeker is going to be on the show a week from today. Very, very much looking forward to that. He has a question. Do you find most fandom is geographically? I guess the majority would be, yeah. I mean, most of my friends that live here in the Milwaukee area are Brewers fans. I do have a number of friends that live in this area that are also Mets fans. That's kind of cool. My friend Demond, who refuses to join this group for whatever reason. We're going to have to talk about that, Demond. I've been good to you in the past. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe for some younger fans, maybe the allegiance goes towards a team of a favorite player. I would guess that there's people that like the Angels because of Mike Trout, or there's people that love the Dodgers because of Clayton Kershaw or Mookie Betts or Cody Bellinger. For me, I've been a Brewers fan, my whole life because that's what was introduced to me first. But I've been a Mets fan because of the cable guy. When they installed cable at my grandma's house in May of '84, he just highlighted all the games: Braves, Mets, Cubs, Braves, Mets, Cubs. So I watched the Cubs games during the day and the Mets games at night. And I've stuck with the Mets ever since. And I love watching games at Wrigley. It's my second favorite destination in all of Big League Baseball. Pittsburgh is 1. Wrigley's 2. Busch Stadium is 3. I love baseball. You guys know this. What happened to Osvaldo Jimenez? Is he still around? All right, so the name rings a bell. I don't know. I mean, I could Google it, but I'll have to get back to you on that one. There are 2 Jimenezes in the Utopian. They're both Rockies, Jose Jimenez and Ubaldo Jimenez. Ubaldo Jimenez will be a starting pitcher. He threw a no-hitter last year for the Rockies. So I'll have to get back to you. I don't know what Osvaldo Jimenez is up to. Geeker has another great question. Who is my favorite player not on the Mets or Brewers? So currently, it's Charlie Blackmon. I love Charlie Blackmon. We're doing a Rockies-themed show tonight. It's going to be more than that, though. Tim St. Clair and I are going to be talking about baseball movies, probably one movie for most of it. Our favorite movie is long gone. But Chuck Nasty's my favorite player currently. I don't know. I've got so many favorites. As a kid, I loved Dave Stieb. I loved Teddy Higuera. I loved Rob Deere. Gorman, they were Mets and Brewers. So Dave Stieb, Dave Stewart, Mark Pryor is one of my favorite players ever. Boy. I mean, I really liked McGuire up until we found out what we found out, but that doesn't change the memories. I loved McGuire as an A and as a Cardinal. Great question. I mean, boy, I can name hundreds of them. All right, we'll always keep the latest one up here. Thanks. By the way, guys, we're almost halfway through. We're 26 minutes in. We've gotten a ton of questions, ton of comments. I love it. Got another one here from Geeker. I always enjoyed Ozzie despite the Cardinals. St. Louis is such a great baseball town. I've been there twice. I saw an Expos game, Expos Cardinals in 1996, and then I saw a Brewers Cardinals game in 2008. Sabathia shut out the Cardinals. I just love St. Louis. It's my favorite. I think it's my favorite baseball town. It's probably my third favorite stadium to visit behind Pittsburgh and Wrigley, but I love St. Louis. All right, so we'll try to fill in some time here before somebody else submits the next question or comment. We'll kind of let you know what's going on in the next couple days as it relates to the team previews. Tonight, Tim St. Clair and I, Rockies. Tomorrow, my good friend Justin Pfeffer, we're going to be talking Minnesota Twins. Monday, an old friend of mine, Greg Matonowski, and a surprise guest I'm working on. We're going to be talking about the Expos. Tuesday night, Rick Lenneberg, who's brought in like 80 of you guys. Him and I are going to be talking Dodgers. Wednesday night, Mark Weber from the Eternal Baseball. I'm really excited to talk to him. Next Thursday, Jeff V and I are going to be talking Astros. Friday, our Angel show with David Rubin. Next Saturday, I've got 2 guests, Jeff Turner and Geeker is going to join us, Geeker Cruisin'. And then next Sunday night, another old friend of mine, Matt Sadoff, going to be talking about the Cardinals. So that's the next 8 or 9 shows here. We've got another comment here. My dad's older brother went to Yale University on a baseball scholarship and played baseball with President Bush. That's awesome. My Uncle George was drafted by the Browns and was in the minors, but left to fulfill his Marine Reserves duties and was killed in the Korean War. I'm so sorry about that, but that's a great story that he was able to play with President Bush and Uncle drafted by the Browns. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. And again, I don't know who did share this. If you click on the StreamYard right above, I I can't even tell you what it looks like because I'm not seeing it right now, but it's a little link right above the video. Geeker's got another question. Best nicknames? Again, there's so many. Yogi, that's a nickname. People think that's his real name. His real name is Lawrence. Yogi Bear. I don't know. Rob Deere, who I call 45. I've been in some camps with him, and I just call him 45, but they called him Rooster because he's got red hair. Pee Wee Reese, I think, is a great nickname. Some of them aren't too hard to figure out. Daryl Strawberry, they just called the Straw. Dwight Gooden was known as Doc. Baseball's got a million of them. Go to StreamYard Facebook. Yeah, so right above me, if you're looking right above me, there should be a blue link that basically gives permission for StreamYard to show your name. Because again, I'm not on Facebook right now. You see me on Facebook, but I'm on StreamYard so that I don't create too much of an echo. If I have both streams up at the same time, it's not good for the audio. And that way I can use your name on the show. And speaking of shows, so these team preview shows are going to wrap up March 12th. So we got about 3 weeks left. We've done about 10 of them. But between the 12th and opening day, the 26th, I'll be doing a handful of shows to get you guys ready for opening day. I might have some guests. Actually, I will have some guests. I just haven't reached out to anyone yet. But then when the season starts, we'll be doing the nightly recap and then the morning show for like 5 minutes. So Geeker says, on my phone, it didn't have that. I had to go to the website. Okay, yeah, and I know StreamYard doesn't have an app, so thanks for letting us know that, Geeker, that you had to go to the website for that. And again, if you don't click it, I'll get to it later. I'm gonna respond to everything if I'm missing anything here, but thank you for that, Geeker. Jamie S., favorite yard no longer in existence. I haven't been to many that no longer exist. The one here in Milwaukee, I loved, County Stadium. I appreciate the fact that we have Miller Park, but I like an open stadium, so I miss County Stadium a lot. I hated the Metrodome. Sorry, Justin, or any Twins fan. I hated the Metrodome. I went twice. I saw an A's Twins game, and I saw a rat like this big, and I just left like an inning later. And I saw a preseason football game, Bengals Vikings, I think it was. I wasn't impressed with the Metrodome, but I love County Stadium. I love Shea. They always say, Shea's a dump, but it's my dump. I was at Shea Stadium twice for a Mets loss and a concert. Billy Joel in 2008. I went to Old Comiskey once. I went to Old Tiger Stadium once. I went to the original Busch Stadium once. But I guess my favorite, would just be County Stadium because I grew up there and I used to work there too. I was a vendor for 3 years. I did actually some Packer games too and 2 concerts. Jamie says, Tiger? Woods or Detroit? Favorite All-Star Game weekend memory? I was blown away by Josh Hamilton personally. Somebody posted about it. It was either in this group or another group this morning. My favorite All-Star Game is the 1989 All-Star Game, which was in Anaheim. It was, if anyone saw it, it was the Bo Jackson and Wade Boggs hit back-to-back homers off of Rick Russell to start that game. And Bo Jackson still hasn't landed yet. And it was on NBC, so Vince Scully had the call. I just remember that being awesome. So that's my favorite All-Star Game memory. The All-Star Game was actually in Milwaukee the year I lived in Minnesota, so I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen any of it yet. I had Weezer tickets that night. So, yes, I'm a Weezer fan, and I had Weezer tickets. We recorded it But on the way home, I heard about the fiasco with the tie and all that, so I just never watched it. Great question, Geeker. Do you think the Tatis contract was altered too much? You know what? God bless the guy for getting paid. He hasn't played a full season in the major leagues yet. So I don't understand why you would give a guy, $350 million when he hasn't played a full season yet. I think just like any, 12, 14-year contract, it's better for the player than it is for the team. I remember when Prince Fielder signed with Detroit, I bet my life that he was not going to see the end of that contract. And the Tigers traded him after 1 year to Texas. And then, he had to retire due to injury, but that was a bad contract. This guy's young and he's great, but I don't know. I don't understand why you would commit to any player for 14 years. He's not going to be as good 14 years from now. So I'm not a fan of it, but get paid. I mean, he did what I would have done. So only one choice, original Yankee Stadium. I've never been to either Yankee Stadium. I want to. I've never been to Fenway. That's my first, I guess, bucket list choice would be to see either Fenway Park or Dodger Stadium. Someone said 1969. I'm guessing that's in reference to like your favorite All-Star memory. Jamie says, come on, man, it's baseball. Yeah, let me try to think of some other All-Star memories. So the year I actually went to that Billy Joel concert, the All-Star game was at Yankee Stadium, and we were supposed to be on a plane at like 6 a.m., but we stayed up to watch all, whatever it was, 14, 15 innings of that game, and I ended up getting 2 hours sleep. And then the people I flew with got about 4 hours sleep. Jamie says, not Tiger. So nobody has a question yet about mustard. Half of my fridge is mustards and hot sauces. We've got some great questions about baseball, Utopian baseball. Let me ask you guys a question. So when the season starts, we'll be doing that recap show every night for about 15 minutes. My plan for once the season starts is to do a talk show. Not too different from what we've been doing for the team previews, but it's going to be more formal, me interviewing people. So if anyone's interested in being on my talk show, let me know. Those are probably going to be, I would guess, about 40 minutes a week, and that'll just be one guest. And then another idea I have is to do a roundtable discussion where we get anywhere from 4 to 10 people on screen at once, and we talk about the designated hitter, expanded playoffs, greatest of all times. I have to address this now. There was a conversation in one of the other groups yesterday, and the guys blocked me. One guy blocked me. I forget his name, but the question came up, is Babe Ruth a top 5 player of all time? Now, I'm not going to deny that he's one of the greatest ever. He dominated his era more than anyone has dominated their era in any sport. But when I think of baseball players and different ways they can beat you, I think of other names. I think of Willie Mays. I think of Hannes Wagner, Roger Hornsby, Ted Williams, Barry Bonds. I thought were better all-around baseball players than Babe Ruth. And this guy accused me of being a drug addict, asked if I was special needs, like it was really insulting. And then I just said, go have a Snickers bar, and then he blocked me. But those are the kinds of things we want to talk about on the roundtable, is just have good conversations about who's the greatest ever, who's the greatest team ever. Those are the kinds of things we're going to do. So Jamie was talking about Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods. Now, I don't follow golf too closely. I know who Tiger Woods is, but I can't really expand on that too much. Geeker says he could talk all day. I may talk all day. I do have to run at 3 o'clock. I do have to run to get a prescription, but we could do this all the time. Quite frankly, I'm getting a lot more comments and questions than I even thought I would get. So, yeah, Geeker, you and I can talk later if you want. This is awesome. All time is almost impossible to gauge. It really is. But it's fun to talk about. It's just fun to talk about. There are no right answers. There's no wrong answers. It's opinion based. I look at it as just a skill set. Babe Ruth is a home run hitter who hit for average, but I've always thought, and I'm not trying to take anything away from what he did, but after the Black Sox scandal in 1919, I think a lot of what Babe Ruth did was created out of Major League Baseball looking to bring back a fan base. And I just think he was the most marketable. I don't know, like Babe Ruth playing now, like he's going to be playing against better competition, bigger parks, Babe Ruth arguably never faced a slider in big league baseball. So I don't know. It is a fun conversation. Opinions are like fingers. Everyone has a few. I've got 8 of them, and then 2 thumbs. This one doesn't work too well. That's for another show, though. Jamie says it's unfair to compare guys from different eras. The stadiums and trends are different. Exactly. I mean, that's why I say there's no right or wrong answers, but it is fun to talk about because different competition, different rules. You've got indoor stadiums. There's just so many factors to consider. Geeker says he's in. Yeah, we can do this. We can do this all day. So he saw the Babe play. Well, yeah, I mean, so when I have conversations like this, the thing I hate to hear the most is when someone says it's not debatable. Yes, it is. Everything's debatable. There's nothing in baseball that's really not debatable. I mean, you could talk about, yes, the Yankees have 27 championships, but are the 27 Yankees the greatest of all time? I don't know. I mean, it's impossible to know that. Geeker says Babe Ruth is a legend, but great. He's an icon. He's like he's probably the number one name people think of for baseball, and that's warranted. I mean, he's Babe Ruth. I'm just, if I'm picking sides at recess, I don't know if Babe Ruth is one of my top 5 players I'm picking, is all I'm saying. Tommy says the Babe would also be in better shape if he played now. We don't know that. We don't know that. We have guys now like Daniel Vogelbach and Kyle Schwarber and guys that played in the 80s, Greg Luzinski, Terry Forster. He might have been in worse shape. So it's fun to think about, but we don't know that. Jamie says Bonds has great hitting mechanics, but will always be tainted due to the PEDs. Correct. I mean, that we cannot deny. Barry Bonds used PEDs, and it enhanced his game. The only thing about Bonds is that, in my opinion, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens were Hall of Famers before they used. So I think they belong in the Hall of Fame. Just put on their plaque that they cheated or that they used. But Clemens was a Hall of Famer before he left Boston. Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer after maybe 2 years in San Francisco, and he didn't start hitting home runs till like another 5 years later. Great conversation, guys. Love it. Does anyone have any specific questions about the Utopian, because I know there's a lot of new members. We've welcomed 40 new members in the last 2 days alone. So if you guys have any questions about how we simulate, please let me know. Let me check my email quick. Nothing in the email. Geeker asks, favorite batting stance you've seen? I love Ken Griffey's. Well, Ken Griffey, so the two sweetest swings that I've ever seen are Ken Griffey's and Will Clark. But I loved Wally Joyner's. I love Darryl Strawberry. I mean, so fluid. Eric Davis from the right side. I loved watching Robin Yount swing a bat. As far as just unique stances, I mean, remember Cecil Cooper, Rod Carew, Ben Ogilvy, Craig Counsell. There's so many unique ones. Carney Lansford, Billy Bates. He'd choke up like a foot on the bat. Great question. We need to do this more often. Tommy says, Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, and Babe Ruth are arguably the three biggest sports icons in history. I can't argue with that. Michael Jordan, in my opinion, is the greatest basketball player of all time. I think Muhammad Ali is the greatest boxing figure ever. I don't know if he's the greatest boxer ever because I don't follow it. And Babe Ruth is, in my opinion, the biggest icon in baseball history. I don't know personally if Babe Ruth is the best baseball player of all time. But it's so fun to have this conversation. Tommy says, I got guys like Roger Maris can't get in the Hall of Fame when there's no way Bonds and those cheaters should get in. It's funny. I don't think Roger Maris is a Hall of Famer. Barry Bonds is a better player than Roger Maris, whether he cheated or not. Roger Maris had a 3-year run that was historic, but Don Mattingly had a 5-year run. He's not a Hall of Famer. There's Hall of Fame, and then there's like Hall of Very Good, Hall of Consistent. I personally don't think Roger Maris is a Hall of Famer. I think Bonds is because he was great before he cheated. And why can't we just say, he elevated his career by using PEDs? But, I mean, Barry Bonds is one of the top 5 players of all time, in my opinion. Jamie says, scores in the UBU. So I'm not sure if this is a question or a comment, but so how we determine winners, if this is what you're asking, Jamie, is I pull box scores from a spreadsheet, and then a random number generator determines which scores go to which game in my universe. So if we pull a specific date from the past, if there was a 17-1 game, then the number generator is going to determine which of my games gets that 17-1, and then the box scores will mirror. So if the shortstop hits 3 home runs in that game, the shortstop will hit 3 home runs in my game, and then those get reported daily. Box scores be published. So not full box scores, because I have to take care of a human being and have to have some sort of a social life. What you will see, and you can see it right now from last year, there's a folder in the group called Daily Scoreboard, and you're going to see all 16 games daily. Winning pitcher, losing pitcher, if there was a save, who homered, and then about a 3-line write-up, kind of a summary of the game. You're not going to see, extensive box scores. It's just impossible. It's just impossible for me to do that. But I keep a running total of wins and losses, homers, doubles, stolen bases, things like that, and those will get updated on a weekly basis. Wade Boggs was another classic hitter. Wade Boggs was one of the greatest hitters of all time. I don't think he ever swung at a first pitch. I never saw him pop up in a game. I know he's probably done it, but I've never seen it. And he made great adjustments with 2 strikes. He could just foul off pitches. Wade Boggs is a beast. Geeker says, cheaters versus Major League incompetence. Do you believe steroid users should be in the Hall of Fame? There's no blanket answer for that. I think Barry Bonds deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because I think he was a Hall of Famer before he used. I don't think Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were Hall of Famers before they used, so I don't think they belong in the Hall of Fame. But I think Clemens does. I think Bonds does. And then you had, your borderline guys. I'm going to say keep out because I don't think they're Hall of Famers if they don't use Palmeiro. I don't know who else, but Bonds and Clemens, I think, belong in the Hall of Fame because they were great before they used. Andrew asks, why can't my son love baseball cards as much as I do? Well, Andrew, I think it's time that we have an intervention with the boy. And we can do that. We can do that live within the group. You just sit the boy down and we can talk to him. I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm willing to help in any way I can. There's already PD guys in the Hall of Fame. We're at the point now where the omissions of Bonds and Clemens are about other things. I agree with that. I think the reason Bonds and Clemens are not in is because they weren't honest about it. I honestly think if they would have been honest about it, there would have been maybe a little bit more empathy. This is why I think Ryan Braun will not have a statue built at Miller Park, because he lied about it and he threw some kid under the bus. But again, A-Rod was honest about it. Once we found out about him, he owned it, but he's not getting in the Hall of Fame. And I would say A-Rod's a Hall of Famer. But I don't know. I mean, if it's true that he used in college, then maybe he's not a Hall of Famer. Tommy says, Wade Boggs is a douchebag. He sat the last 4 years of the 87 season so he could win the batting title over Molitor. I don't remember that, but I believe you. I don't know if that makes him a douchebag. I don't like it when and this is coming from a Mets fan. The year Jose Reyes and Ryan Braun were competing for the batting title, and Reyes sat out the final game of the season to win the title. I don't like that. So if this is true, Tommy, then I guess I agree with you. Will A-Rod be first ballot? No. A-Rod's not getting into the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. I think he's going to have the same fate that Clemens and Bonds did. And then Geeker says, never mind. Rose became clean, and he's still out of the Hall of Fame. All right. I can't believe that I waited this long to address Pete Rose. Pete Rose is definitely a Hall of Famer. And again, the reason why Pete Rose is out, two reasons here. Number one, he lied for about 20 years. And two, I'm convinced that if Bart Giamatti hadn't passed away, that Pete Rose would be in the Hall of Fame. The fact that he passed away like 3 weeks after Rose was banned, and it's been documented that the stress of that process probably killed Giamatti, there's no way Pete Rose is getting in to the Hall of Fame. He deserves to be there. I want to take my daughter to the Hall of Fame one day, and she's going to say, can we go see the hit leader? And I say, well, he's not in because he gambled. And then she's going to say, well, I want to see the home run leader. Well, we can't see that because he used PEDs. All right, well, I want to see one of the top 3 greatest pitchers of all time. We can't because he used PEDs. So it's weird. I mean, the Hall of Fame is a museum, so Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. Bond should be in the Hall of Fame. It's a museum that celebrates the game's history on the field. So I'm torn about it. I love Pete Rose. Yeah, of course he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Geeker agrees. Tommy says, Willie Wilson sat the last game in 82 to win it over Yount. Again, I was 6 years old, so I believe you, Tommy. If that's the case, I believe you. As long as Bud Selig is alive, Rose will never see the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose is not getting into the Hall of Fame, folks. I want it to happen. He deserves to be there, but he's not going to get in because he lied for 20-plus years. And if he would have came clean in 89, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. If Giamatti doesn't pass away, he's in the Hall of Fame. That's just my opinion. If Rose signed an admission at the time of his banishment, he'd be in 30 years already. Correct. The only reason he's not and stares back at him in the mirror every morning. Yeah, Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame because of Pete Rose. It's Pete Rose's fault that he's not in the Hall of Fame. And he is in the Hall of Fame in our minds. If you're a fan or if you saw him play, and I think that has to matter. I mean, he's just not in the museum. But again, at the same time, he is, because his career is celebrated. He just doesn't have the plaque. But that's Pete Rose's fault. Anything that happened to Pete Rose is Pete Rose's fault. Anything that's happened to Clemens or Bonds is their fault. Again, their resume speaks for itself. They should be in the Hall of Fame, but I'm done campaigning for Pete Rose because of all the lies, and he's not a great guy. And it just, at this point, it is what it is. Tommy, how can Rob Deere win the Utopian MVP this year? Well, it's fate. It's whatever the spreadsheets spit out. Rob Deere actually was second on the team last year in homers. I think Yelich was first. Deere was second. Rob Deere is the starting right fielder for the Brewers on opening day. A little teaser to the Brewers preview show. Tommy's favorite player is Rob Deere. He's my favorite player. So yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. Andrew says, what is your favorite mustard variety and why is it spicy brown? I love spicy brown mustard. I have probably 20 different mustards in my fridge and probably 12 different hot sauces. My favorite sauce right now, if you guys watch, what is it? They eat the wings and they answer the questions. I don't know what it's called, but it's on YouTube. Heatness does a bottle. It's called Detroit Habanero. I put that on everything. Corn dogs, chicken tacos, burgers. I love it. My favorite mustard is, I actually get it right here at Pick and Save. It's a spicy brown, like beer mustard. And I put that on brats and burgers. And I love mustards. Pete Rose makes more money not being in the Hall of Fame. You think he's doing all those signings in QBC or in some Vegas casino? If he's in, no chance. Correct. Absolutely. If the reason Pete Rose is doing those signings is because it's the only way for him to make money. He can't be employed by MLB. I was actually surprised to see that he had a job for Fox for as long as he did. Pete Rose is making more money doing this, but I think if Pete Rose would have his way, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. Secret Stadium sauce or ketchup? I don't like ketchup at all. I don't eat ketchup on anything except for occasionally I'll put it on mac and cheese with cut up hot dogs, but I don't eat ketchup on hot dogs or burgers. I don't like it at all. Secret Stadium sauce, I had a little bit of it last night with my corn dog nuggets. I have Secret Stadium sauce, spicy brown mustard with my corn dog nuggets. And that's a regular purchase at Pick and Save. Rose's numbers talk for themselves. Yes, I mean, he is a Hall of Fame caliber baseball player. I just don't think he's going to get in because of the lies. That's just my opinion. But I love Pete Rose. I love Pete Rose. All right, guys, 3 more minutes. I can't believe how quick this went. Who wants to do this again at some point? I didn't get as many questions as I thought I would about the Utopian, but I think the people here are starting to understand what we're doing. It's fiction. It's for your imaginations. In 2 weeks, it's just going to come down to the results. I can't wait to start it up. Spring training, by the way, we're going to have a spring training slate about 3 weeks or so, starting March 1st. Every team is going to play 16 games. They're going to play every team. So there's half of them are in Arizona, half are in Florida. It's just a round robin, and then one team will play another team twice. Tommy asks, who does BJ Surhoff play for in the Utopian? The Brewers, baby. He's the starting catcher for the Brewers. He'll be the starting catcher on opening day. as the Brewers host the Los Angeles Angels on Friday, March 26th. Trout versus Yelich to start the season. All right, guys, we got about a minute left. Thank you so much for being here. This was way too much fun. I want to do it. I wish I could do this every day. And I'm limited to what I can do in StreamYard. I only get 20 hours a month, but I can go Facebook Live and do another 10 hours. But I do have to hit Walgreens. We have one final comment here. This is great. Love talking baseball. The UBU will get more love as the season goes on. Yeah, like I said, Jamie, thank you. The UBU is you. The Utopian Baseball Universe is its members. The content is just kind of what brings us together, but what makes it thrive is you guys. Great time, thanks. Thank you, Tommy. Did great, buddy. Can't wait to talk again. Zoom, yes. Zoom could be an option down the road. All right, guys, it is 3 o'clock. I do have to get going, but thanks again. Let's do it again at 7 o'clock. Me and Tim St. Clair are going to be on at 7 o'clock to talk about baseball movies and the Colorado Rockies. Have a great day, guys. Love you, and we'll talk to you tonight.